My name is Giorgos Gogos. I'm General Secretary of Dockworkers Union of Piraeus Port Authority. I represent the union from this position 5 years now, and we have a continuous fight, struggle against privatization of Piraeus Port Authority the last 10 years. It was 2005 that time government, conservative government of New Democracy, Nea Demokratia, tried to privatize the entire Piraeus Port Authority through a concession to Chinese company Cosco, through a bilateral agreement between Greece and Chinese state. Because of our struggles and our argumentation, this did not finalize positively for them, but they came after in 2007 and they proposed a concession project of the bigger part of the container terminal. Actually, at that time, the existing container terminal, Pier number 2 of Piraeus Port Authority, to Chinese company Cosco. It was a bid call for proposal on the air, tailored to Cosco, tailor-made to Cosco, and they succeeded to concess it to Cosco Company in 2009. It passed through the parliament, the contract of the concession, and it was after 1 year and 4 months of continuous struggles from the unions of Piraeus Port Authority. We had many days of strikes, general strikes, occupation in the place of the container terminal, and not working on weekends and overtime. But unfortunately, Cosco is now dominant in the container terminal of Pireaeus the last 5 years. In June 2010, they established there and they started operation. Unfortunately, all of our fears became true, and starting from the labor rights and the labor conditions in the terminal of Cosco, they are medieval age conditions. Colleagues there working, they don't have the right, the fundamental right of organization, so as to represent themselves collectively. They still do not have a collective bargaining agreement. They don't have a regulation concerning the organization of the job. They have very low income. They have a precarious job. They work from 10 to 15 working days per month. And consequently, many accidents are taking place in the container terminal of Cosco, and generally is a place that I wouldn't like to work, and I wouldn't like any human being to work there. We continue our fight against this situation. We try to organize people there. We try to raise the idea, the necessity of creating a union. 1 year before they made their first strike, and this resulted to the first steps of creation of a union, of their own union. Unfortunately, so far they didn't succeed almost anything. They still have the same conditions as I described to you. And now we have passed in the next phase after the establishment of the memorandums after 2010, that we had the first memorandum. The previous government, the New Democracy again government, in cooperation with the Social Democrats, they initiated a procedure, a process of privatization of entire Piraeus Port Authority for a very few amount of money. Actually, Piraeus Port Authority is owned up to 74% by the state. The rest, 26% of the shares are spread in the stock exchange of Athens. And they introduced a plan of privatizing 67%. So the state remains in a percentage of 7% just to have a presence of meaning nothing actually. This process started in February 2014. So far they didn't succeed to finalize. We had a change in the government in January. Syria, the radical left party, won the elections and became a government. But unfortunately, under the pressure of Troika and the pressure of Chinese state,
The Chinese state give pressure.
the Chinese
privatization.
state is coming here in Greece and proposes to the governors that they are going to invest money, they are going to create jobs, they are going to bring prosperity. I think Syria's government tried to find an alternative so as to say no to the continuation of a new memorandum and so as to escape from the strangling measures that we had all these years, try to find alternatives from China and from Russia. We had an analysis that, as trade unions in the port, that Chinese are very difficult negotiators. They want what they want to get, they know how to do it, and they promise a lot of things when they want to approach the other side of the negotiation table. But we had the analysis also that they want us to stay inside the Eurozone and European Union, otherwise we're not useful for them. So I think the Syriza government was in a trap, trying to find alternative financing for the needs of the country so as to get some funds. And at the same time, this plan of Cosco, so as to privatize, to get the port, was at the same line with the lenders, with Troika. So they were trapped, and now what has happened in the last 3 months, it's incredible in Greek society. We thought we were a sovereign country. We thought that we could rule ourselves and to take decisions about our future. We changed direction as political human beings, putting Syriza on government, but the lenders and Troika directed everything to this third memorandum. People voted for no, or for a new memorandum at the percentage of 61-62%. Under the pressure, because the banks were closed after the capital controls, huge campaigns in TV stations and private mass media trying to persuade people to say yes, and Greek people rejected this and voted in 62% for no. Unfortunately, Europe is not so democratic as we were thinking, as we were hoping. And the result is the third memorandum. It was on 12th of July that a coup d'etat took place during the so-called negotiations. And the government was in front of a dilemma to continue with this third memorandum or to lose any way of financing of Greek economy and go into a new currency, and with all the consequences that I think nobody can estimate or calculate the extent of this situation. So we are in this contradictory thing that a left government, a purely left government, has made many steps back and is obliged to promote and to implement another memorandum in the country.
Okay, let's take a break.
Yeah.
So why don't we, go back briefly to Chinese. The Chinese call themselves a socialist country, and as far as their investment in Greece and in the ports here, what do they say? That they have to attack the union in order to make profits? Is that what they're saying, or what?
They don't say openly that they're going to attack unions. They say that there is no need for presence of a union. Everything is okay in our terminal. There are no problems. Everybody is satisfied. They're pressing people to talk in some reportage that they are satisfied. So there is no need for a union. Greek people, they say that are used to take long holidays and so on. So Greek people, they have to learn how to work more, to be more productive, and we are a big family here, and we work all together in a happy world. This is their story. But what they care is for their profits. It's not a real investment what happened here in Piraeus with Cosco. It would be different situation if Cosco would come here, take a piece of land, create from the beginning a new port, having this multiplying effect to Greek economy, so as to workers in the construction of the terminal, to buy from national, local industry, so as to equip this terminal. But what has happened is completely the other thing, that they undertook a fully operational terminal with clients already existing in the terminal, and they just equipped with some new machinery made in China and abroad. So this is not an investment, this is a squeeze of the infrastructure that it was already made by the public company, by the public port authority.
Now, the unions here have had a number of general strikes, and you said there was a general strike in Pireaeus. Why don't you talk about what these general strikes were, what happened in the general strikes, and the lessons of the general strikes?
I have to tell you that since 2010, when we had the introduction of the first memorandum, it's about 40 general strikes, 40 days of general strikes. It's not a small number, but the problem is that Greek unions were undermined already before the spread up of the crisis. We didn't have the tool of a healthy union that inspired workers so as to go out in the streets and fight for their rights. They were the leaderships of especially the third level, the level of the confederations. They were too linked with the parties that created all this crisis, the parties of conservatives and the social democrats. I have to tell you something indicatively to understand what was going here. Every president of the Confederation of Greek Workers before 2010, after the expiration of their position as presidents, they were becoming ministers in their party government when they were in power. So it was clearly clientelistic way of action of the union, especially in the third level, the confederation, and in the level of federation. At the port, we try to work as a grassroots union. We are having frequent general assemblies. We have a board of directors that is working properly and in normal period every week almost, and we discuss openly all the problems we have, even if it's related to the port issues or in general political issues, and we take decisions almost anonymously all together. So we try to inspire people that if they are not involved, nobody else is going to take care about their job and their rights. So everybody has to be involved and act and react. This is the core ideas we work. We try to inspire people so as to fight for their rights and to find alternatives, to have all this, how to say, analysis to lead us to the victory, if the victory comes ever. But we try to work in this.
Well, capitalism now, the global system, including the Chinese expansion, the unions are all under attack, not just in Europe, all over the world, in the United States and in Asia. What do you see the solution for workers? Because workers can't fight by themselves, just in one country alone. The Greek workers, what they face is going to be spread to Europe. I mean, this is...
That's true, that's true. I think neoliberals, they are very happy to divide us, country by country, union by union, sector by sector. The key point, I think, is to find ways of coordination, of cooperation, ways to show widely our solidarity one to the other. We are members of International Dockworkers Council. IDC has presence in 4 continents. We are members of IDC Europe, and we have seen in practice that this thing is working. We have taken lessons from previous struggles of comrades and brothers and sisters in Europe, in France, in Spain, and we have tasted their solidarity. They have shown us their solidarity, and we try to have very frequent meetings. We have a working group that in monthly, 2 months base, we meet all together and we discuss our problems, trying to find solutions and common ways of reaction. I think this is a very good example for international or regional, at least, cooperation. So I think united we stand, divided we fall. I think this is the key point, and we have to realize that through this cooperation we have only positive things to get and no negative.
What happened as far as the split in Syria and where your union stands on that, as
Yes.
far as the politics of it?
Our union does not have a clear political direction. We don't have lists inside our union having reference to a party, but it's clearly labor union trying to fight in this base. We have a left orientation, and it's proven by the struggles the last 10 years. Political time in Greece, it's quite concentrated the last years, and especially the last period after Syria was on power. The defeat of Syria, it's not a defeat only of the party, it's a defeat of democracy in Greece and in Europe.
How is it a defeat of democracy?
As I told you, in January people voted the majority to have a left party on power and to implement an alternative project and program to memorandums. This program didn't succeed to start implementation because of the pressure of the Eurozone and the European leaders. It was clear that they neglected this will of Greek people to change orientation of the country. And they denied this will twice, also after the referendum we had in July. It's clear that they don't care what people say. They have, the neoliberals in Europe, they have a clear, strict and brutal project so as to eliminate everything in societies. Not only in Greek society. Greek society is the experiment. This sooner or later will expand to other countries. And we have seen in other countries some points of these projects. The defeat of Syria is also in another point of view, that they succeeded to split it. And because Syria, it was the only left government in the European Union and in Europe in general, they succeeded to split this vision, this dream of unity of left movement, and it's very painful to see it here and to see it from so close.
But, I mean, this problem of the capitalist attack on the unions and workers, it's deepening. I mean, and do you think that the working class can get reforms from these capitalist European Union, these capitalist banks?
Yes.
I mean, in other words, they have an agenda to crush the unions, not just in Greece, but all over the world. And I mean, what avenue do the workers have direct action in challenging these policies? Since in Greece, they basically ignored the vote of the people and said, we're going to continue our agenda.
This discussion is taking place these months in Greece, and I don't think I have an answer, to be honest. What I have seen from our experience is that neoliberals, they are a very hard, rigid wall that you cannot break it alone. You need many nations, many countries, many societies to decide and to be determined that they will break this wall. In our case, we didn't succeed to do it. What I see in the near future, in the next months, 3-4 months, for my country, for the workers here, is that it's better to have a left government to try to find these holes inside this system so as to make a bit better the situation for the more vulnerable people. Greek society needs reforms in several levels. For example, a government has to be determined to fight with corruption, to cut the links between the big capital and the government and the power. It has to stop this situation.
In privatization, why don't you talk about
Yes,
the effect of privatization in Greece?
Memorandums, they have 3 pillars, and they implement they have 3 legs. One is privatization, the other is attacking labor rights, and the third is minimizing as much as possible social state. These are the pillars that they work so as to bring prosperity, as they insist, but to our opinion is to eliminate everything, to make a society of very low-paid working force, labor force, without any kind of social state, especially in health system and education system, and privatization so as to come big multinational companies and exploit all the infrastructure that was created by the state and the people. So they want a new form of society. And of course we don't want to see this happening. The big question is how we can go on. If we can remain part of the Eurozone, of that kind of Europe that is neoliberal is too strong, and if we can reject this plan. This is the big question. We're living in a difficult situation. Nobody knows what will happen if we say, no, we don't want your money, we don't want your funding, we don't want your projects, and the next day you have to find money for energy, you have to find money so as to start a new model of production of goods, of food items even, and how you are going to build up a new way of banking system, how to support education and health system. We're not a country that we have a productive base so as to have exports, so as to have sufficiency in a point.
Is that something as a result of the European Union? You're joining
Yes.
the European Union? Why don't you talk about how they destroyed the economy of Greece with the European Union?
With the common politics in agriculture, the common politics in policies in production models, slowly the last 30 years they changed the productive base of the country. So now the country is dependent on services without any real production. With such environment, such landscape that you can produce almost everything. And we don't have the self-sufficiency for the basic food items, for example, tomatoes, potatoes, and so on. And we import everything from oil, medicines. It's incredible. And this is a part of globalization. And unfortunately, I think the conservatives that created the European Union before 50 years or so, they didn't have this in their mind. At the same time, that time it was the other side of the world, the socialist countries, so they wanted to be attractive to societies. And they created in Europe a very good welfare system, and they succeeded to have a level of living. But after 90s, things have changed radically.
Well, the capitalist countries, imperialist countries are fighting each other.
Yes.
You know, so that they're competing with each other to market
Yes.
share and that kind of thing. What is your union's view towards U.S. military intervention, European intervention in the Balkans, in the Middle East, the bombing of Libya, the bombing of Syria, and the effect on the people of Greece and the people in the region?
It's clear that these attacks to those countries, they are creating problems, of course, in the population living there. They're destroying societies with this tool. It's not economic, it's a clear war and a normal war, as we know. And the consequences for Greece and countries who are neighboring to those conflicts, it's a huge wave of refugees. And what we see here, it's a humanitarian crisis. People are coming with their families, trying to find a safe place so as to continue their life. It's a very pity situation, it's a dramatic situation, and it's a very bad combination. Being Greece in such a crisis, not ready, of course, to accept all these waves of refugees, of people who are trying to find a safe place for their families. And it's very dangerous. It's like a bomb here in Greece, because the radical Nazis, who are unfortunately rising and gaining among Greek society, they are using this so as to promote their Nazi ideas and their racist ideas. So it's another bomb that we have under our feet here in Greece.
In the United States and Europe now, they're talking about this humanitarian crisis, but they don't say that the bombings and the war...
It's clearly the bombings. Syria was a normal country of Middle East, without wars, without problems, with a regime that was not democratic, I can agree, but they were living one way or another. But now they cannot live there. They have a civil war, they have the attack of the jihad fighters of ISIS, and they are in a continuous danger. About 250,000 people lost their lives the last 4 years. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. 3 million people are waiting in the borders of Turkey so as to pass to Europe. They cannot understand, or they can understand, but they just want to sell their weapons. They just have to have access to oil, and they want to have control over wider regions of the world. They know what they're doing, but at the same time, it's a huge tragedy for Middle East and all these places that exist these conflicts, and for Europe, that Europe has to accept these people, because part of the Europe is making this problem. They are accountable to this problem, to these people, because they created this problem.
And you're saying with the United States. So these
Yes, of course,
U.S. and the European governments created
Yes.
this crisis.
Yes, exactly. It's, for me, it's clear. This is that created all this problem. It's not something else. It's in Iraq, for example, when it was Saddam Hussein, they never found the nuclear weapons that they said that he was using and so on. It was not a good guy, of course, Saddam Hussein, but people were living in a way there. And now huge numbers of people lost their lives and lost their normality, and they are leaving their country, trying to find a place just to live.
But, I mean, this seems to be the role of imperialism today, modern imperialism, to break up countries.
Yes.
Break up Libya, break up Iraq,
Yes.
break up Yemen, break up Syria. The response of the working...
And Ukraine.
And Ukraine.
Which is in
being
Europe.
another one. I mean, attacking military going into Ukraine and encouraging a revolt and that kind of thing. The response of the working class to the unions to this in Europe has been even like
Nothing.
the response to Greece. I mean, what's happened in Greece? It's
Yes.
silent. Is that because the trading bureaucracy doesn't want to challenge these governments and bring the governments down? Or it seems like there's a political vacuum, paralysis.
Unfortunately, people, when they live a normal life, they have a level of life that it's enough for them. They don't care for the problems of the other. They don't care for the problems of the other unless the problem knocks their door. This is a big bet, so as to make such campaigns, to make this awareness campaigns, so as to realize that these are class wars. They don't want normal people to have prosperity and to find their own way. They want to have the domination one way or another. And we have to fight against this altogether. It's clear that unions, they don't have something to say to this. Although the last months, unions in Greece, they are making campaigns so as to gather food items and material that will make things better for the refugees. Slowly, mentality is changing, but it's changing because we are in a problem. We are part of the problem. I don't think that people in Germany, normal people in Germany, they have this consciousness because they are very well with their Mercedes car, with big house, their kids, they have good schools, and unfortunately they vote for Merkel. So
would you say that this is a one-sided class war? I mean, it seems like capitalists are engaging in
multinationals and imperialists are hitting country by country so as to control people. It's clear, and either they will be controlled, either they will die. They don't give any alternative to the people. They want to pass their domination and to paint their hands with blood, with human blood.
And how have your members personally been affected by this crisis?
You mean about memorandum and everything?
Memorandum,
yes.
and just the living conditions and your families and education.
Working conditions so far did not change because we are strong unions and we didn't permit to change in our job things. What we didn't succeed to avoid is cut-offs in our salaries, about 40%. We didn't succeed to have to oppose to negative changes concerning the pensioning system. Although I have to stress here that the previous two memorandums increased the working life of a worker, also for the people like us working in risky and dangerous environment. In the last memorandum, let's say if it's something that it's positive, it's that the extent to years of working life did not include the risky and dangerous people working in such environments. So we're not affected by the last memorandum in pension system. Pensions lost about 30 or 40% in Greece. We have increase of taxation, and at the same time we see that tax evasion of very high income and big companies is continuing. We have seen billionaires in Greece raising the years of crisis. And what we didn't lost so far is our unity and willingness to fight. This is the most positive we keep. Of course, people are disappointed. There is a big depression among people. Many people are stressed. Many people, about 1.5 million, they are unemployed, and they get assistance from their families, from their pensioners, fathers and mothers. It's a radical change the last 5 years in Greek society.
And young people, what future do they have in this society?
Young people, this is another difficult story. We have a brain drain. It's called brain drain. Young people educated, they emigrate so as to go in other countries like US or other European countries so as to find a decent job in in a sector that they have been educated. And it's bleeding for Greek society, not only because it's losing the flowers of our society, the more educated people, more intelligent, more willing to work, to offer to our society. And at the same time, it's a financial bleeding because all these people, they were educated in public universities. So the best of our young professionals are leaving so as to find a better life in Europe and in other countries. This is very important. Young people are very worried because the unemployment in these ages it's between 50 and 60%, and it's painful to see young people sitting and without working, producing. It's a pity. All these are bets for our society so as to change it and make things better.
And what are the lessons of your struggle to American workers, American longshoremen and other American workers?
Lessons learned from our struggle. First of all, to keep our unity as much as possible. Second is to be quite clear in what we want. Second is to make better awareness campaigns so as to increase the level of awareness in other groups of people, in other parts of society, in other sectors of economy, and not to promote our own interests concerning our working place, our demands concerning our salaries and rights that are clearly ours. The point is that we have to explain people, especially in the case of privatization of Piraeus Port Authority, that Port of Pireaeus is not the port of the dock workers of Pireaeus. It's the port of wider society of Pireaeus and the Greek society. It's something that was created by by the work of dock workers and by Greek society more wide. It's not only ours, it's all of us. So all of us, we have to defend it and to protect and to change things, but not in the way they want in privatization, but to open it in local municipalities, for example. We are not willing to keep Piraeus Port as it was before. We want it open to local municipalities, to have a relation and interaction between the municipalities that are neighboring, who are suffering from the job of the port, because a port is noisy, it creates pollution. So we want to change this relation so as to feel that it's part of them, of all of us. So we have to stress and to work more in this creating wider fronts of defending public port.
And to the Chinese workers?
To Chinese workers, what can I say, organization. Again, the point is to unite and to demand all together. Chinese regime is not a socialist regime. It's clearly an exploitation of labor force. And for people who work for Cosco, who are Greek people, especially with such unemployment rates in Pireaeus, there is no need to import Chinese workers to work in Piraeus Port. There are thousands of unemployed people who are willing to work for a few money. What I say is we have to realize we are all together. We don't have competition between us. Workers they shouldn't have competition between us. The competition is in the level of companies. We have only common interests. And to create all these basic things and to have trust one to the other. Because what Cosco succeeded so far is to increase espionage between them and to prevent them from communicating between them. Although dock work is teamwork, We work in gangs, so we have the chance to discuss our problems, to disagree, to argue, but there is a working place that you can communicate. It's not like working in an office. You have your office, your PC, and 3 meters away it's another one. No, we are in a teamwork, and we have to realize that one stands with the help of the other. So they have to realize the necessity and the positive thing that they can get from the help from the others. They have to trust one the other, because they are very reluctant in getting in contact with us, with dock workers from the public port, because they have a wash brain every day by Cosco that we are the bad guys in the public port, the lazy guys, that we want them to be out of the job and we want everything for us. No, we want everybody to work with decent conditions and to have decent lives, salaries, and all together to fight for our rights, which are common.